Well, hello, hello. I'm believing that I can be heard. Hey, Kevin, I'm believing I can be heard. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you can be heard, but for some odd reason, I am still getting that static, but you definitely can be heard right now.
Okay, that's fantastic. And maybe I'm going to turn my Bluetooth off. Maybe that will help as well. We'll
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Because
Yes, ma'am. Turn the.
sometimes, sometimes communication does not help us, and
Ah,
that's okay.
you sound great now, so whatever you just did worked.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to be here. And you know what? It's not even a problem. I'm just so grateful to be here and now I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, because you're on your speakerphone,
Okay.
and it's
You
hearing.
want me to just hold the phone up to my head?
Well, you don't have to hold it to your head. Just turn the speakerphone off.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I am learning. Perfect. All right, so I'm glad to be here. And this is Coach Kim sitting in place for CJ, who
For some odd reason, I just want to interrupt you, uh, Coach Kim, because now your phone went out on me. I cannot hear. Let me see. Say something.
I can hear you clearly on my telephone.
Yeah. Okay. I want to pull the phone up to your ear for a minute. Let me see if I can hear you better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Well, I
And I'm hearing an echo.
yeah, you're hearing an echo because it's going back through your phone, but I can hear you, but you keep coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Let me see. Go ahead and try to talk for a little while and see if we can get that situated.
your soul. Like, how do you feel deep down in? Are you at peace? Are you at rest? Are you excited about your day, your next move, and where you're going, and if you're on track? These are some good questions to ask yourself. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I'd like to continue my discussion with a guest speaker who's going to come on board today and share with us her journey in Shop Free Mart, so we can get a more of a bird's eye view that goes beyond my experience. So I've been on board with Shop Free Mart for 2 years now. As a matter of fact, I just went over my 2-year anniversary. So I'm not going anywhere. Like where I am today is in so much more of a blessed position with the company than where I was when I started. And it was through growing and building and developing. So we're all learning together. We're all growing together. And the good news is there's room for you. There's plenty of good room. So whomever may have directed you to this radio program, please get back to them and say, you know what, I want to be all in. I want to get involved with a team of people who care about me, who care about my goals, my direction, my development. I want to be part of a family like that. So definitely get back to the person who shared, this invitation with you, and we would love for you to join the journey with us. And I'm going to ask Kevin if Joy Matwishan is available. We'd love to bring her on. And just so you know, I am getting feedback. So I just wanted to mention that. It's a little odd. So that's
I'm
kind
on,
of where.
Ken. I am on.
Hello,
Hello.
Joy.
How are you?
I am fabulous. It's great to hear you. I'm glad you're able to connect with us. And we're going to jump right in because, we lost a little bit of time. But, Joy, can you tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to Shop Free Mart and, your journey up to this point?
Okay, absolutely. I guess I was introduced to Shop Free Mart by my husband. He had a friend called to tell him about a great opportunity, and when he heard the details about it, he said, I'm not interested. And then he said, well, I got one more thing to share with you. And he started telling him about Shop Free Mart. He said, that's it. That's the one I want to be connected to. And so, whenever my husband Richard finds something good like that, then I'm all in with him because that's what him and I are all about, is helping people with their health naturally. And I've got a long story behind that. So back to you, Kim.
And I'm in the Baltimore area, and
Okay.
a reason is that we have people all over the country and actually all over the world. I'm in Baltimore. Where are you?
I'm not understanding anything you're saying, Coach Kim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, and it's an ironic situation because it seems like wherever Coach Kim is currently, she is in a bad area that is taking away from the frequency of the cell phone. I know that you can hear me very well, and thank you so much for chiming in. She asked where you were from, and if you can expound a little bit on where you're from, and again, just kind of go over what it is that got you so deeply involved with the Shop Free Mart process.
Okay, I can do that, absolutely. This starts way, way, way back in my life, actually, in 1974. After After being treated with prescription drugs for 4 years for a simple then I'm telling you what, I got so sick and it kept getting worse and worse, and it became a critical kidney problem. And so, in desperation to turn my health around, I really cried out to God and said, this is not the direction I want to go. I don't want to go on dialysis, and I really don't think I'd be here today if I'd continued on that path. So my son's babysitter said, Joy, you really need to start eating food grown without chemicals. And the second thing that happened was she introduced me to a gentleman I ever saw. He was 89 at that time. He looked like he was 50. And he was diagnosed with colon cancer at age 40. And they wanted to do all kind of treatment on him, but he said, no way. They wanted to cut out his colon and all this stuff. He said, no. God gave me this colon. I was born with it, and I'll die with it. And so he moved from Ohio to South Florida, right below where I lived in Miami. And he bought 5 acres, pitched a tent, started building a house 1 room at a time. The neighbors brought him organic produce from their gardens. He ate it all raw. And long story short, he got well. And so when I was introduced to him and told him what I was going through, he said, how would you like to earn while you learn? He wanted me to come and help him on the farm. He had 5 acres, and he was helping hundreds of people that would travel miles and miles to come buy his organic food. So that was my introduction to how to get well without prescription drugs. And then a book was put into my hands, How to Get Well by Dr. Papa Areola. And so through that book, that's exactly what he was saying. Get away from a chemical lifestyle. The food you eat, okay, if it's grown in chemicals and it has pesticides, it's going to make you sick. It's going to put toxins in your body. And you need to get away from cleaning products that are chemical. And so the list goes on. And I made a radical choice to go totally cold turkey off my medication and go in the direction that he was leading. And I became so healthy. And it didn't happen all overnight, but this put me on the path to want to help other people, to want to reach out. So when I found out about Shop Free Mart, I was writing a book called A New Vibrant You, which I'd actually wrote a few years before that, but I felt like the Spirit of God was saying to me, you're addressing the physical body of man, but man is a 3-part being, spirit, soul, and body, so we're going to rewrite the book. And so when I got to chapter 12, how to maximize the health of your physical body, it's like I couldn't write another sentence. And it wasn't until I was introduced to, Richard and I introduced to the Shop Free Mart, that God said, okay, now you can go back and finish that chapter. And why? Because he showed me that Shop Free Mart had been raised up for such a time as this to help people maximize the health of their bodies. So that's all I know, isn't it? I mean, it gives me chills and tears when I talk about it.
I love that.
I know it. I do too. And you know what, Coach Kim? Every day that goes by, I know more and more that is the truth and that is what God's doing. So those that are led here, I believe it's by divine appointment. Of course, they still have a choice. Are they going to get involved or not? But I'm glad I did.
Let me ask you this question. I'm glad you can hear me now. So
yeah, I do.
How can we help people? So you came in obviously like a meteor, just like radical. Like, I'm ready for this. Like, bring it on, right?
Yeah.
How do we help people who are coming in, you know, more like, oh, can I stand on this? You know, will this bear my weight? Can I do this? Is this really true? But the doctors are telling me I need all these prescription medications, and they have on white coats and they have degrees behind their names. And like, you know, you sure this water's going to help me? Like, what are some conversations to have with the more typical person? Because you are atypical coming in like that with a vision. Like, sometimes it's a question. Sometimes people are running away from something, and sometimes people are running towards something.
Right.
What can we do, in your estimation, to make that table, that bounteous table, appealing enough that people would want to run to it? And I'm going to say this in a tongue-in-cheek way, you know, without changing their life. Like, I don't really want to change too much, but I do want better health. Like, how do we balance that out with the average person?
Well, I you know, have found that you can't just start dumping a whole bunch of stuff on people, but you can ask them questions that will start making them curious to know more. And one of the things that Richard and I have done from the time we're beginning have come together, that we like to ask people, you know, get to know them, talk, have a little conversation, and say, by the way, could I ask you a personal question? And they go, well, sure. What are the health concerns that you are dealing with? Or do you have any health concerns that you are dealing with? And, you know, people do. Everybody has something. And so the next question would be, what are you doing about that issue? Oh, well, the doctor has me on this medication, that medication, whatever. Well, how's that working for you?
Yes,
and
okay.
Then because I have my own story, which anybody can, it's free to use my story, okay? I know a girl named Joy that she has a testimony called from almost dead to vibrant life.
Wow.
And that is my testimony. I have blogs on that where people can go and read, you know, where God brought me from. And then, you know, I asked another question. By the way, do you know what the key causes of disease are? Can you name 4 of the main key causes of disease? And then I shut up and I wait and see what they answer. Okay, I get all kinds of answers. Cancer,
oh, I'm sure.
this, that, whatever. And I say, okay, well, you know, that's good what you're saying, but that's just the symptom of the key cause, or that's you know, that's a result of not addressing the key causes. So let me share with you what they are. Number 1, dehydration. Your body had 100% dehydration when you were born. By time you reach, well, I'm not even going to say what age because it happens younger and younger and younger now.
Right.
But as time goes by, you can go as low as 15% hydration level. 15%. And then by the time you reach 9%, guess what? lights out. Okay.
Right. Right.
And then the second one would be mineral and nutritional deficiencies. Okay, mineral and nutritional deficiency. Why? Do you know why we would have such mineral nutritional deficiencies? A lot of people do get that. They once I get to that point, and they say, "Oh, the food, the way the food's grown." That's exactly right. And that's why I'm a big advocate of organic food. But still, even because of all the toxins we face, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the food we eat, then you really need to supplement, okay? Even if you're eating all organic, you still need to supplement. But with what? Okay, another thing I learned along the way is you can't just go out to any health food store and buy a bottle of magnesium or calcium or this or that, because you don't really know how it was created. And it has to be created in the correct isoform so that your body can use it and utilize it. Can actually be dangerous if you are taking nutrients that are not created with the right isoform. So the third thing is low levels of oxygen. And I would go on to say low levels of oxygen within your blood. And the fourth thing would be cell and organ toxicity. Cell and organ toxicity. So, and then because of all the toxins that we are facing every single day, then this is not unusual to have this issue. And that's how I was at age 24. I was so toxic. And I wasn't eating food that had the nutrients and the minerals in it. I wasn't drinking water that could get into my cells. Now, let me just say this right here about Shop Free Mart. I am amazed, totally amazed, Coach Kim, at the products that John Austin, our CEO, has brought to the table. It could be nothing but the hand of God leading him, because, for one, the hydration drop will cause the purified water you're drinking. Don't drink tap water, okay? That's full of, like, over 5,000 different toxins can be found in tap water. Oh, you need that. You need that purified water, or distilled water. I almost always drink distilled water now, because John has advocated that so much. And, there's been a myth about that, don't you think, Coach Kim, about the distilled water?
Right, and I think, one piece of information will, ring around the world, and there can be misinformation, and people don't go back and, just study for yourself. As you pull back the layers and get past the marketing and this and that, and just start really seeing beyond the veil, things just start making sense. And I'm sad to say that much of what appears to be here for our health and our knowledge is just here for profitability. So, and the one great example is the bottled water industry. So we say, just like you said, don't drink tap water, but they'll take it to another level, and it's, the sleek, sexy bottle, the mountains of so-and-so. And a lot of times it's actually it's bottled tap water. It's bottled city water. Yeah, so it's like one of the journeys that I have been blessed to appreciate with Shop Free Mart is that this whole deal is about educating yourself.
Yes.
And the longer you allow yourself to be spoon-fed and just go by what the media tells you and what's on the front page, the longer you'll be bamboozled. And as you start peeling things back to say, oh, So this is what I should be doing. This is what my body needs. And a great example, like you mentioned, symptoms is when you have an ache or challenge, and instead of, I use the example of you're driving along the road and you look at your gas meter, your gas gauge, and it tells you you're at a quarter of a tank or eighth of a tank, and you say, oh my gosh, that can't happen, and you take some masking tape and just cover it up. I can't bear it. I can't deal with this, and that's what medicine is. Medicine says, hey, I'm just going to cover up the issue. I'm not going to address it, and guess what? You're going to pay a price. It is literally like if I walk off of the top of a building, what's going to happen? The principle of gravity will kick in. I don't care. Yeah. And that's why we see very wealthy people, for example, paying, goo gobs of money when their health is leaving them. It doesn't care. Sickness, toxicity, dehydration doesn't care if you're a billionaire or a pauper living on the streets. It does not care. It does what it does. And so, but the beauty that I'm seeing with this whole journey, Joy, is that we do have a choice. And that's like, what? Like, it reminds me of, the Star Spangled Banner. And, when they wake up and they see the flag being just still waving, that flag just shows hope. There is a choice. We don't have to surrender. We're not giving up. And as long as we have life and breath and someone says, hey, would you be open to learning about a better way? And that's
exactly.
Shop Free Mart. Yeah.
All the way. And that's education. That's why I asked the question to stir them up and get them to start thinking and want to know more, And I praise God every day for what John is doing and how he has allowed us to do the educational calls every single Monday through Friday, and there's even something on Saturday, and then we have something on Sunday night. So people, they can come, but they've got to choose to, and
right.
Once they listen to one of the calls and they see how awesome it is and what's being taught and shared, then, they get hooked, especially when there's testimonies, okay? And people share real live stories. This is where I was and this is where I am. And that's pretty powerful,
So what would you say to this? So when we look at a company, and I'm sure we've both been involved in several companies. When you look at a company like Shop Free Mart, often we talk about the minerals and the products and the, like you said, the testimony, the before and the after. How do you see us looking at the multidimensional aspects of a person? Like, does it stop at just the physical health? Is that where Shop Free Mart starts and stops, with the growth of people?
No, not at all.
What's the relevance? What's the relevance of that?
Okay, well, for one, it's it's a very I want to say Christian-based, Christian ideals, God's truth, okay, God's truth coming forth, and God's light shining in the dark places of deception that people have been fed with. So, like the book God told me to rewrite, he said this is going to be about the whole man, the spirit of man.
Yes.
Okay, because we were given a spirit first before we were even given a body, so that we could have fellowship with our Father, our Creator. He's a spirit, okay? And he's a spirit of light. He's a spirit of truth. And he wants us to fellowship with him by the Spirit. And the second thing is the soul of man. Okay, the soul of man is your mind, your will, and emotions. when we can connect our soul with the Spirit of God within us, then we will start hearing and acting different, making choices differently. And, because, the Lord wants the best for us. He wants, Christ came to give us life, health, abundant life, okay? Abundant life, never intended for man to be sick and even die, So we've got to reconnect by the Spirit. And I see that in Shop Free Mart all the way, and that's beautiful.
If we're not even having a conversation, see, that's where, to me, the limitations happen. If you're going about your job, or your life, and you're just not even having the conversations, then it's not even an option. It's almost like, going into a store and you're like shopping on the left side of the store, not even knowing there's a right side. It's like, I didn't even know you had this section here. I thought this was a wall, and there's a whole nother section that I can have access to. And that other section is actually the balance. That's the actual weightier section. And when I'm looking at that breaking, the separating of the sections, to me, that right section, that mind and the will and the emotions and the spirit, if you get that in order, then you actually will have the energy and the courage to deal with the body, right? So we kind of have it upside down, topsy-turvy. The body is the surface, and that's if I can get the six-pack, but guess what? If you get your mind right, and the discipline, right? Because six-packs don't just, you can't get a six-pack by osmosis.
No,
You got to put some things in place, and you got to be consistent to your vision, right? And that's part of what I love about Shop Free Mart, in that we not only speak on the vision and speak on where we're going, but we speak on the source of the vision, like the actual source. Even with John Austin, we say, the products are great, and we say, don't just stop at the products. Look at the guy who brings us the products, right? So we say, yay, John Austin. But we don't stop there. We say, look at the one who is giving John Austin the vision, giving John Austin the technical expertise and the skill and the discipline to bring these to bear. That's who we're looking at. That's who our source is, and we're all, encouraged by that and by that source, and saying, you know what, we are winners. Now that I think about it, I am a winner. My body was born to win. My mind was born to win. I got this. This world has been telling me a bunch of lies and telling me that mediocrity is where it's happening, and I just had a revelation that I'm a winner. I'm a freaking winner.
That's right. And too, Coach Kim, this is something that God instilled in me many years ago. Let this mind, which be in Christ, be also in you. Because what does that represent? The mind of Christ. He had the mind of the Father. He only spoke when he heard the Father speak, only did what he saw the Father do. So it's renewing of the mind. To think, the way Christ thought, because he only spoke truth. He was the light of the world, but he said, I'm only the first of many sons that will be raised up to do the same things I did, and even greater. And I believe we're in that day, that we're in the day of even greater, because the Father said, I'm going to bring restoration to all things. Now, I see him having raised up John Austin and this company and people he's drawn here to be a part of this, to help shine the light of truth in
Yes.
the deception that has bound people in bad health and all kinds of other things too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're the light. We're the light. What I'm going to ask you a question, Coach Kim. When you go in a dark room, dark, pitch black, no light, and you flip on the light switch, what happens to the darkness?
Disappears, runs away. You can't find
That's
it.
right. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. And that's why we're here. That's why
Yeah.
we're here. One person at a time, whole groups at a time. I love getting before groups because it becomes very exciting and people really start catching the vision of what you're trying to say and teach them. And so it's being that light that Christ said we were put here to be. And he has people in all different arenas of life. I know he's got me in this arena to shine the light on the deception that the enemy has planted in people's mind about their health and about how to take care of their health. Now, I want to tell you a quick story. My sister, oh my God, she had fibromyalgia. She was drinking. This is when I was taking care of my dad, and she came to live with me and help me out with him. And she was on 13 diet sodas a day.
Oh my
13.
goodness.
Yes. And that stuff they put in the diet soda. And she was heavy, okay? I said, Connie, why are you drinking diet sodas? Well, because I don't want to gain weight. I said, you've done nothing but gain weight.
Wow.
I said, so how's that working? That's not working because it's not designed to lose weight. There's so much toxic stuff in that.
Yeah.
And, so I was able to really help her. I started my organic gardening business, and she became a part of that, not the part of working outside, but taking care of the books and all that.
Okay.
And so I was able to really influence her life because she was there with me. And I got her off of all the sodas, off the bad food, off the prescription drugs. And then, long story short, later she got back on, I think, 13 prescription drugs, and a couple of them were, when you looked up what they were, was so horrible, antidepressants.
Wow.
One of the worst things you can do is accept a prescription for depression. I mean, it's amazing. So guess what? I had found out about Shop Free Mart. I know the products work together synergistically to help bring your body back into balance and homeostasis so your body can do what? Heal itself the way God designed it. And so, you know what? We got her off of every prescription drug by giving her every one of the Shop Free Mart products that were available at the time. It is. And she, oh my goodness, she, was able to get off of them in 2 to 3 weeks. Unheard of.
Wow. When people embrace this as a lifestyle, that becomes the difference maker. I wanted to go back to what you talked about when you turn the light on and the darkness runs away. Jim Rohn is quick to point out that, but where is the darkness? It's not far. He says all you have to do is turn the light out and the darkness is right there. So we just need people to understand that it's not a one-time choice. Right. I do it and I'm good. And, I've had people who may drink the water and they say, oh, this is good. I'm feeling good. So, I'm going to check that box and now I can go back into my regular lifestyle. And the answer is no, of course you cannot, because it's really like you're climbing to a new level. And now you're living on a new level. You're on a new floor. And the point is to operate on that level, to not revert, because as you revert, you lose ground. You want to go from glory to glory to glory, higher, stronger, fitter, more focused, more. Why?
That's
because
right.
you can. Because your body is designed to, take it all in and to evolve and not to devolve, right?
Right.
Looking at things, whenever you put in your space, in your mouth, in your ear gates, in your eyesight, really a good question is say, hey, is this building me up or is this tearing me down? There is no neutral. There is no neutral. So, yeah.
You know what you speak to, Coach Kim, people don't realize what's coming out of their mouth is creating their world.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of, I think it's Beethoven who had that, because he had hearing problems and lost his hearing, he had that primitive, if you will, that it looked like a ram's horn. So it's kind of like kind of like a dictaphone. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but you speak into it and it comes back to you so you can hear.
Yes.
And that's how people literally are, like everyone. That's how we're formed. It's like our words are boomerangs.
Yes.
It's actually creating our own world. Why do I always get stuck at this same light? Why am I always getting the same type of person in my life? I'm never good. I'm so clumsy. I'm not good at math. I never can excel. No one ever takes me seriously. All of that, you are literally, it's like a little
negative. Yeah.
Yeah, sitting around you saying, okay, you want no one to take you seriously. Okay, you want bums in your life. Okay, you want
it's
here you go. This is your order. Pick up.
That's right. That's why I tell people, don't speak what you don't want, speak what you do want, and that's one of the things back in the 80s, the Lord brought real revelation on that, and he even asked me, I heard him asking me a question in my spirit, man, how did I create the world? Well, you spoke it into existence. He said, and didn't I say that I created man in my own image? Well, by the way, you did. And he said, well, what are you speaking out of your mouth and what are you thinking from your thoughts? He said, because that's what's creating your world. And he said, you can speak life or you can speak death, or you can speak blessings, or you can speak curses. And that's in the Word, okay? And so, that got a hold of me big time and changed my whole life. It's like, oh, my God, put a watch over my mouth, God. Put a watch over my mouth.
Joy, speak to us for a moment about speaking over the hydration drops, speaking over your water. Does that have any anything?
Oh, you better believe it. Over your water, over your food, over your everything in your life. But absolutely. And, I like to keep my whatever I'm drinking with my hydration drops on a nano card because you get energy from that, too. And words are powerful, how we're supposed to pray over our food. Well, we want to pray over everything we put into our mouth and into our body. And it's not this big long prayer you have to pray. You just speak and declare what God's word says about. Lord, I declare and I decree that these hydration drops that I'm putting in my water are going to take this purified water right into my cells. I thank you for that. Being grateful. I'm grateful because it's going to clean out my cells, help to clean out my organs in my body and get rid of the toxins. And the other key thing is to bring the nutrients into the cell. If the nutrients aren't getting into the cell, then you're not getting the benefits of the nutrients.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That thing I like to touch upon with people is, it's like I know it's in people's mind. Well, okay, so I can go. I give them a checklist and go through to kind of see what minerals they might be deficient in, and but I say now this applies to the Free Mart product because the Free Mart product, just because you're showing you're missing magnesium, that you're low in magnesium or you're deficient in magnesium, that doesn't mean run out and get a bottle of magnesium. These products have been created properly in the right isoform. So when you drop those magnesium drops under your tongue, that's going to go right into your bloodstream and into your cells and do what it's supposed to do. Same with hydration drops. And I feel hydration drops are one of the key products that everybody needs to have first, because if you're taking all the other products and they're not, then the water you're drinking is not getting into your cells, how do you expect the nutrients and the minerals and the things you're taking to get in your cells?
Yes.
It won't.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
they're like the advanced party. If they're not getting in, then nothing's getting in.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this question, Joy. We got just a couple of minutes left. So someone's getting started with Shop Free Mart today, and their money's a little guarded. What 3 products would you say, kind of one size fits all? I know we definitely have checklists, but what are 3 things that people should put high on that list of, you're probably going to need this? What would you direct them to?
Well, I would definitely say the water and the living minerals. And the reason why I choose living minerals is because if you read like the handout I sent you recently, if you read what all that product does, and that's right from the earth, that's the minerals from, I think they said the rainforest, and so it's deep, dark black, and it's so full of nutrients, it's going to help everything else work better. So I would say that, and then it would be hard to say after that, but, as people go through the checklist, they can kind of see what else they would need to take with that. But magnesium is one of the main things, too, that are missing in the diet. In most human beings, they're low in the magnesium, but then you got the decal-boron that works with the magnesium. So.
Okay, now I know we have a runaway horse and a runaway train, because we're now on a slippery slope, and we just want you to get back with the person who invited you to this call or this program and say, hey, take me through a checklist, help me to do a wellness assessment. Let's see what's good for my body, because this is very unique, fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, and I've been kind of loose with it. I'm ready to come back home and get my body, get this house in order, because I'm ready to set myself on point so I can make the rest of my life the best of my life. And Joy, we're at the top of the hour. I just want to thank you for being here. What a fabulous, fabulous sharing. And I'm just proud to say that you are an accomplished and heart-filled, soul-filled, spirit-filled business partner and friend of mine here at Shop Free Mart. And CJ, hey, you got the ball, man. Thanks for letting us sit in for you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, what a wonderful blessing. And Kevin, I'm turning it back over to you, sir. Thank you kindly. And,
God bless you.
I'm sure he's going to take over.
God bless you. God bless you. And again, God bless you all. Thank you all for doing what it is that you have truly been blessed to do. I am honored, privileged, and blessed to have you all as a part of the GMAP Broadcast Network platform on today. I know that CJ is smiling. Job well done. We were able to make it through the storm to get the information out there into the eyes and ears of the people. Coach Kim, God bless you. Wonderful job. And, of course, Joy, your blessing to be incorporated into today's program was fabulous. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do, okay?
Thank you, Kevin. God blessings to you and your future and all that GMAP represents and all you touch. Thank you for letting us share with you guys.
Amen. God bless you, and you all have a wonderful day. Another
Thank you,
great,
bye-bye.
Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise broadcast here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. And, of course, I am Pastor Kevin. Want to say God bless you, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. Take care.